So, remember that one platform fighter? The one with the beloved characters? The one made by an indie studio? Yeah, you know the one. MultiVersus! MultiVersus, a free-to-play platform fighter game released in 2022, which was developed by Player First Games and published by Warner Brothers Games. Also, side tangent, but
Release Coyote versus Acme!
you're a coward, David Zaslav. With that aside, MultiVersus was seen to be the Smash Brothers killer. Oh, look at that! It's a Smash Brothers clone. It's gonna fail just like Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. Surprisingly, it was given a lot of praise during the closed alpha. With the game having close to 150,000 players on launch day, and having more than 20 million players after the first month. Now, before we go through why it closed and why it failed, let's talk about the characters, the maps, the gameplay, and everything about this game. The little juices that had so much potential. The base roster for this game was very, very strong in my book. The DC reps, Harley, Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman were kind of picks that you kind of had to include, but overall they were very strong picks. Plus their movesets were very, very good. They played very well. Shaggy and Velma were characters I probably wouldn't have an idea of how they would play in this game, but making Shaggy his Ultra Instinct form was great. It was probably the only way you could handle him. And Velma had absolutely no right of being one of the best fighters in MultiVersus. Are you kidding me? Oh my god. She's so strong for no reason, man. Oh, I can't believe it. Bugs and Taz were probably the best animated out of all the fighters. Their zaning and loony movesets had no right being this good, and their animations are just flawless. I especially love the Tasmanian's tornado. It's so cool, honestly. I like it. Personally, I am very glad to see Arya in this game to round out all of the cartoony characters. Even though she's kind of a Marth clone, her moveset is very fluid, yet I still don't know how to utilize the mask special. Like, how to use it? You just use it and then she taunts, and then, oh boy, they're stunned. So like, it's kind of useless in a 1v1, I think, but in 2v2, I guess you could get a free kill if you're lucky, but anyway, side tangent, I remember seeing a Reddit comment about how there should be more cartoony characters in this game. This take was so wrong on so many levels, oh my god. Oh my god. Anyway, speaking of the cartoony characters, let's talk about the Cartoon Network fighters. Jake is great. There's nothing wrong with him. I would not change a thing whatsoever. Finn, I think he needs more time to cook. He's basically just a swordie, but his special is more than enough to make up for it. But I think he just needs more time to cook. I mean, his moveset is very solid, honestly, but it just feels more sword slash, bingo, sword slash, you know, it's kind of weird. And then there's Steven and Garnet. Let's get the elephant out of the room and just say it. Steven's voice in MultiVersus sucks. I totally understand why Zach Callison didn't voice him again, but this voice just ain't it, Chief.
Steven! It's just like crying breakfast friend Smash Bro! Choose your character!
I hope you go to hell, Mr. Daniel Daniel Da Vinci. I hope you go to hell, Mr. Daniel Da Vinci. I can't say names. I'm gonna leave it in. Who cares? And Garnet is kind of bland in the game, honestly. No personality. Sorry. The Iron Giant, as complex as he is, I'm glad they made a big robot a fighter. I have still yet to watch the movie, but this big guy could have loads of potential for Godzilla or King Kong or, you know, just about any other giant character in Warner Brothers or other media, so I think this is the perfect pick. Tom and Jerry are freaking perfect. I don't care what any of y'all say. They're basically the epitome of fighters and all of fighting games combined. Rain Dog is cute. He's just a little guy. He's just a little dog. And LeBron James is also a great fighter. His balls are fucking dumb sometimes. You know what? He's also a running candidate for epitome fighter design. These fighters are great, and realistically, I probably wouldn't change much about them. Then season 1 hit. Rick and Morty also had another elephant in the room. Their voice lines were recycled. We all know why, but let's hope Ian Cardone and Harry Belden could give them justice. Also, their movesets were more so just references, but they played pretty well, especially Morty. I really loved playing Morty. I think I would use the combo his Dirt special and then combo it into his Plumbus. I kind of like doing that a lot. Gizmo and Stripe were probably the most complex non-expert fighters, especially Gizmo. I didn't really understand what the bow and arrow and the popcorn and the singing mechanics. I didn't like that, but I am so glad Stripe was there. But did we really need 2 Gremlins reps? It's kind of weird. They're from this old show. You know, it doesn't matter. They're here. Cool. Black Adam was purely here just to promote the 2022 Black Adam movie. I didn't even care enough to play as him. Let's just move on to season 2. Even though Marvin was the only fighter from season 2, he was done exceptionally well. He's my main in the game, and let me just say that his entire gimmick is just sending fighters straight upwards into the sky. Not even in the sky. He's trying to send them into space. Like, what the hell? That's so cool for him. He's such a rewarding character. This loony ass motherfucker this loony ass motherfucker has gotta be a running contender also for epitome fighter design. The maps in this game were honestly great. Not a single change from them whatsoever. Each of the maps look very distinct from each other, and their music is amazing. It has orchestrated music, which I think is really, really unique for this game. And it works so well. Even the non-orchestrated music tracks just work too well into the original soundtrack. The variants are a treat to use. Personally, I'm fine with sticking with the normal variants because I'm kind of bland like that, but I'm personally a big fan of the Detectives Tom and Jerry variant. Let's talk about the gameplay. The gameplay is pretty floaty, which can be a turnoff for some players, but personally, I am so glad it's different from every other platform fighter. You can probably compare it to Brawlhalla, but that game has a weapon system and it's more floaty, while I prefer the more simple, just get a moveset, you're done. Combos in this game just feel so fluid that it's very rewarding even if you don't take a stock. Shielding is not a thing in this game, so that's honestly a good change that I really like. Yeah, I get that Steven has a shield, but it's not like a traditional Smash Brothers type of shield. Dodges replace shielding, and it's just so much better. No longer do I have to use a wave dash, but rather just dodge in any direction to recover or extend my combos. Overall, this game had so much potential. We could get characters like Harry Potter, Willy Wonka, freaking Sheldon Cooper. Yeah, I'm kind of rooting for him to be in the game. There was so much this game could have. But with all the praise for MultiVersus, let's get the real elephant out of the way. The MultiVersus Decline. Around the launch of MultiVersus, there was a large hype train for the game ever since the leaks came out. When the first look was released on YouTube for the game, it was definitely so much better than Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, saying how the game could be the smash killer. But in reality, MultiVersus could, at the very least, be a great competitor to Smash Brothers. Warner Brothers was shown to have a large investment into this game, especially in the competitive scene. After the game had launched, it didn't take long for the game to fall off. A reported 99 fall of, oh my god, a 99% fall of players? If any of my games did that bad, I would have immediately revamped everything for a full launch at that point. Oh my god, MultiVersus did a great move on their part. While technically the game was in an open beta state, there really wasn't much to do outside of the 2v2s, the 1v1s, the FFAs, and local play. They added some modes later down the line like the arcade mode and silly queue, but it definitely needed more than that to be substantial. But I think I get what they were going for. They were trying to go for quality versus quantity. But even though the game is in open beta, the quality was kind of mixed. Even the seasonal events weren't enough to bring players into the game, new or returning. Besides the lack of things to do, the live services was rough. As expected, these free-to-play games had currency where you can use to buy cosmetics and characters, but even I knew it wasn't worth buying a small pack of Gleamium for what, like 15 bucks? That'll just get me a variant and nothing else? These founder packs from launch date were downright scams in my opinion. I don't know, man, they didn't look too good to buy. Even with their battle passes, it was too grindy from the start, which turned me off. I get that some other games are like that, with their battle passes like Fortnite or Brawlhalla, but MultiVersus has literally nothing else in the game. Fortnite has other game modes and user-created games, even Brawlhalla has a good amount of modes, but this just don't work, man. And don't get me started with online. The game would constantly lag or even kick you out of matches sometimes. Your character would be flying all over the place if you got unlucky with the servers. As for me, I didn't experience it too much, but I always thought it was funny and dumb as to how they would just randomly go in any direction. At least during Season 1, there were new characters to try out, but there was legitimately nothing else in Season 2 outside of Marvin and a new Game of Thrones stage. Reportedly, Season 3 was scheduled to go live on Valentine's Day of 2023, but it was pushed back to March 31st so players could finish the Battle Pass for Season 2. But on March 27th, 2023, a video titled MultiVersus Open Beta Update was up on YouTube, stating that live servers will be closed down in June to work on the game more. Personally, they really have to close the servers, but like I said before, I get it. If I was the director of this game, I probably would have closed the game down and let the game cook more. Considering that the game was technically in an open beta, I think it's fair that they decided to close it. It was more supposed to be seen as like a soft launch, but I think marketing pushed it way too well to be this huge video game that'll have a 100 score on Metacritic. After the server shut down, people were steamed when they couldn't use any of the stuff they bought for the game. I get it, if I spent $100 on the premium founders pack, are you kidding me? The premium... and I couldn't get any compensation from it, I would be pretty mad. But I am sure glad I didn't spend a single penny on this game whatsoever. It was way too overpriced from the start. For a few months, after the beta closed, there was just nothing about this game whatsoever. And then we got a message in December from the PFG team, basically telling us to stay tuned. I'm sure they're doing great right now, and I sincerely hope that development is running smooth, because from the looks of things, it seems like development is going very smooth right now. And then we get a leak about McDonald's and a MultiVersus collab in January 2024. Wow. There are definitely two explanations for this collaboration. Either MultiVersus is more likely to be pushed back at a later date due to how collabs work with McDonald's. It's scheduled ahead of time and they have to promote it, even if the game is launched again or not. Or MultiVersus is releasing in March 2024, which is a perfect time, let's be honest, and this was all planned. Either way, it's coming soon to the States, so we can at least expect some form of news very soon. Alright, so it's March the 9th and MultiVersus has finally come back from the dead, stating that we were going to get an announcement on Monday, March the 11th. I'm so excited, you guys! I'm so excited! I will say, during the start of 2024, there has been an insane amount of copium from the community. We were literally begging for an announcement from EVO, when all they did was just announce the game lineup for the event. I am very guilty of watching this, expecting something because of an account on Twitter also having an insane amount of copium, but I think they definitely overdosed. So what was I doing during all of this? Well, I had dropped out of college at the time and I had moved into my grandparents' place. For a few weeks in December, I had hopped back into MultiVersus and fell in love with the game again. So much more than I had anticipated. It was until during mid-January when I started to make moveset concepts for characters and even making perk icons in Photoshop. But I eventually lost interest again because the game just doesn't seem like it's coming out soon. Now I'm here just getting my last thoughts in for this game before an announcement happens soon. That leaves me with one final thought. What could I do better next time? For starters, don't advertise and monetize the game like it's already in full launch. You guys said that yourselves that it's in open beta. Come on, guys. That's... Secondly, the lack of stuff to do in this game. Just fighting is not it. Like, I get it. That's what a fighting game is, but there's gotta be at least a little bit more, man. Lastly, I don't think they should make the game so competitive oriented, but be more casual. There's definitely a larger amount of casual players for almost every game. Competitive gaming should still be included, but not during when the game is in beta. Don't advertise the game to be highly competitive, especially so early before the game's launch. With all that said, I love this game, and I love the community, especially the Daner miners and the artists surrounding it. You guys are amazing, and keep supporting the game and PFG. Not Warner Brothers though. Hashtag release Coyote vs Acme. Before I end the video, let me share you some thoughts and ideas I've had for the game. This game has a literal potential for an amazing story mode, especially with Raindog being an original fighter, and there's also lore on where the fighters came from. I also have a headcanon for this, so basically, after the events of Space Jam 2, Mr. Algae Rhythm sucks all of these characters into a fighting game because he sees the success of crossovers in fighting games. So he decides to steal some code from a game that LeBron's son is working on during E3 camp. Algae pretty much uses this as an alternative to make more money and relevance for Warner Brothers, but then Raindog is like another source of code that's here to stop Algae from all this happening, and then leaving the respective worlds alone. But that's just me, that's my headcanon. Okay, let's quickly do the ideas. I think they should add a new category of perks called sabotages. Basically debuffs for the enemy team and they're colored purple. For example, let's have a new one called Bubblegum Everywhere. Just basically makes the opponent's ground speed slightly slower. I've also created movesets for a few characters. They're all in the Google Docs and I have them all linked down in the description. You should give it a read or two. I also ask that you do not steal my ideas, and if you do, you better give me the credit where it's due. If you did reach the end, thanks for hearing my stupid thoughts about this game. I didn't expect you to come all the way to the end, and this is something new that I'm trying and I hope it works out for me. Who knows, I might make more MultiVersus content. With everything said and done, I'm Marsha, and thanks for tuning in.